Coach, now get ready for your next big game. Let Ralph's help make game time a little easier. Place your order today for ready-made party platters at your neighborhood Ralph's Deli at ralphs.com/order online. All right, let's bring in the head coach, Clay Helton. How'd you spend your bye week, Coach?
Did you sit in front of the TV?
Yeah, Coach.
Getting ready for the number 2 offense in the country.
Yeah, that's probably a little less relaxing than JJ's was. What do we know about these Cal Bears? I mean, why don't you start by telling people sort of how it works and where you are in this week, right? I mean, we're coming to you live on a Monday. Most people know that, but it's not a Monday for you.
Yeah, it's we've had a lot of good fortune. You know, we were able to, get a couple extra practices last week on a Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of get first, second down, and third down game plan in. Took a couple days off for the kids to rest up, get over some bumps and bruises on Thursday and Friday, and came back Saturday. Saturday was like a Monday for us. So we've actually practiced Saturday, Sunday, Monday now. Tomorrow is like a Thursday for us, if you can believe it. So it's been a little bit different timetable for us, but I think it's been great to get over some bumps and bruises that we had after Arizona and to be able to have a couple extra days facing a really, really good offense in Cal.
You know, Coach, I know oftentimes you use the bye week as an opportunity for the younger guys to even get more reps. And who within that young group did you see that might have stood out on the practice field that a lot of people don't recognize?
Yeah, it was neat to, in that last part of the Arizona game and in the off week, to be able to see some kids get out there that have been playing for us, to see a Wale Batiku, to see a Connor Murphy, to see a Jordan Iosefa, a Jack Jones, a Pi Young to get out there, a Michael Pittman who's been playing for us. So to be able to continue to progress not only those young men, but the kids that are still have their redshirt year available, a Josh, a Mortabebe, a Tyler Vaughns, a Trayvon Sidney, a Velus Jones, those type of guys, and get some good young quarterback work for Matt Fink. It was a great week to be able to develop some younger kids.
And the other great thing about a bye week is you get to get healthier, and that sort of leads into Patrick J. Camacho's question on our Facebook Live. When do you expect Justin Davis back? And just in general, how healthy are you coming out of the bye week?
Yeah, just with Justin's injury, anytime you have a high ankle sprain at that running back position or a wide out, one of those skill positions, as you all know, it's hard, and it takes a couple weeks. Those kids usually have to be 90 to 100% to be able to perform at the level that they need to. Justin has not practiced yet this week. I think it's very iffy, to be honest with you. At best, that he'll play in this game. We have the good fortune of having the three backs that went again in the Arizona game with, Rojo, Sed, and Dominic, and they produced, and they're going to be asked to be able to do that again if Justin's not there.
Coach, when it comes to decisions like that, I know several things weigh into it. What's most important for you? Is it how the kid feels? Is it, how the other guys are playing that are in front of them? You got a great performance from the other backs. Would that be a reason to leave him back? I mean, or the competition or the opponent? How do you factor in if you're going to push him if he's iffy?
Well, you go in one, and you remember you're a father of 3, and I've adopted 105.
Okay.
So the first thing is you're never going to hurt a kid, to win a football game. So I lean more on how they're feeling. I think they're the only ones that know what they're feeling like, how confident they are going in. And some kids, if they're capable of doing it and they're at 90%, they're like, Coach, I want to go. I can fight through. Let's go try it. And some guys, you're sitting there at 60, 70%, and it depends on the position you're at. And when you're Justin Davis and you plant and cut as hard as he does,
Right.
It's hard to do it on a bad ankle.
And Juju scared the heck out of everybody, particularly on social media. I can attest to. But how's Juju looking? I mean, it seems like he's certainly on the mend. And overall, what do you attribute his last stretch to? I mean, he's 6 touchdowns his last 3 games.
Yeah, we all held our breath there for a second, and he caught a helmet to the back underneath his pads, which is always not fun.
Doesn't sound fun.
No, and hurts. But shook it off. Has had some wear and tear over 7 games. He's a kid that goes 60 plays plus in each and every game, and when you're doing that and the ball's getting to you, you're going to have bumps and bruises. Plus, he's asked to do a lot of the physical blocking that we do in our run game, digging safeties out, and it's wear and tear. So be able to give him an off week, and he's looked good the last 2 days, and looking forward to him having a great game versus Cal.
Coach, we had a off the field situation in terms of Jabari. He's not going to be with us, but now your depth at that defensive end spot. Talk about the rotation there. How are you going to use guys? I mean, I know Uchenna and Porter Gus have been playing outstanding, so your starters are intact. What does it look like behind them?
Yeah, no question. We've had a really good play by both the edge guys in Chinna and Porter, and have had some good backup play. You know, when you look at Elijah Wan Tucker, who's played a lot over the last couple games, backing up, and then having Wale and Connor come in and being able to help out Wale specifically on third down. We think he's going to provide us some nice pass rush opportunities, especially in a game like this, which could see as many as 60 passes in a game. So to be able to get him on some third down situations, we think that's going to help us. But those 5 guys kind of rolling are the staple right now of the edge players.
You know, we were saying we like the Thursday game because it gives you a weekend off before and after. How difficult is it for you, though, as a coach, because these guys are sort of not in the same routine as they typically are, and I know how important routine is to you.
Yeah, no question. You know, you got to kind of click them back in. You give them a couple of days off, which I thought really helped us. The last 2 days practices have been unbelievable energy, and you could just see their legs coming back. So this off week, I think, hit exactly perfect for us.
That's good.
Coming out of week 7, you know, sometimes you get it early, sometimes you get it real late. Sometimes I was talking to Arizona, they didn't even have an off week last year. So you always hope that it's kind of in the middle of your season. We caught a good break with this one.
Yeah, Arizona hasn't had one in years, and Cal's playing you on a short week, so it's interesting the way these schedules get laid out sometime. Hey, due to classes being in session, tailgating is not allowed on campus for this Thursday's game, so you can come over to the lab right here instead and get your pregame on. It's a message right here from the lab, and there's lots of information too at usctrojans.com/Thursday, so check that out. We're going to come back and talk about those Cal Bears taking on the Trojans this Thursday night, 7:30 kick, right here on ESPN. You're listening to Trojans Live. Back on Trojans Live, Jordan Moore, John Jackson, and the head coach Clay Helton getting ready for USC Cal. Just a couple days away now. 3 days, Thursday night, primetime, 7:30, ESPN LA 710, right here at the Coliseum. You can get your tickets at usctrojans.com/tickets. And let's talk about these Bears, Coach. You know, the show that precedes us is the Jeff Fisher show, and they're all asking about Jared Goff and when he's going to come in. What's been impressive about Cal is, despite losing the number 1 pick, they haven't skipped a beat. How much of that is what Sonny Dykes does? How much of that is that they found a good one in Davis Webb?
I think it's both. This is by far the best quarterback we've played this season.
Really?
Just on tape. His maturity, the maturity of his game, the ability to make any throw on the field, doesn't take a lot of sacks, gets the ball out, has great vision. You look at that kid that's already thrown 27 touchdown passes to only 7 interceptions and completing about 62% of the ball. He's spreading it around to different guys. Just a really, really talented kid, and they're giving him the ability to even do more than what Jared did. You can see him changing routes on both sides, giving signals, and so I think he is an older kid. He is a senior.
Yeah.
And his ability to probably study more and do more. They're doing a great job with him. As Sonny's done a great job with quarterbacks his whole career.
You know, Cal averages 87 plays a game, and they run 118 in one of the games earlier this year.
It's going to be a long night on Thursday.
Yeah, we're going to be out there all night. Don't call timeout.
Yeah.
But with that number of plays, how do you from a defensive standpoint, approach it in terms of rotations, in terms of tempo, and trying to control the tempo?
Yeah, I think one of the things that starts on offense. That's the first thing, is the ability to hold on to the ball, and how critical our third down efficiency on offense will be to be able to sustain drives and kind of ball control. The other thing offensively is you cannot have a turnover. You can't let them steal a possession and get more plays. In the other sense, you have to try to steal a possession. Whether it's in special teams, whether it's a turnover by your offense, you're trying to limit their opportunities and their possessions. And then defensively, I think it's going to be all about getting this quarterback off his spot, especially on third down. They've been really good at third downs and keeping drives alive. I go to that Oregon game. There's a 15-play drive, 14-play drive drive, 13-play drive, and they're just making third down after third down after third down. The ability to get off the field. You're playing a team that plays 87 plays. We're going to have to play a lot of games. We're going to have to substitute in and out to keep us fresh. And the one thing when you go and look at this team, every one of their games have been close.
Yeah.
It's always been a fourth quarter game within this entire season.
And that Oregon game certainly was. I watched that one for as long as I could stay awake. That was another a late night game. But it's foolish to sort of write this Cal team off as just sort of the bear raid and throwing it around, though, right? Because they ran it great in that game, and then I went and looked at the stats, and that's something that they're doing a lot better this year. It's a decently balanced offense.
Yeah, you got to remember it's a different coordinator this year, different offensive coordinator, and there's a little bit more belief in the run game, and there is a balance. When you look at their percentage numbers, they're 60% pass to 40% run, and they're averaging 175 yards in the run game. Muhammad's averaging 6.7 a carry, and Trey Watson's averaging 5.7. So they got two backs back there that are talented kids, bring speed to the table, and then you put that with a unique passer, elite passer, and some great wideouts outside like Hansen and Stovall and those guys. It makes for a dangerous offense.
Both of these backs you're very well accustomed to because they were local players, right? I mean, Kalfani went to here locally, and so did Trey Watson as well. The smaller backs, are they harder? They say they're hard to see. That's what the thing is. Is that true? Is it just hard to find them behind the offensive line because they seem to scoot through it, but when they get in the open, they're tough to bring down?
Yeah, one of the things I think these two kids do is they have the ability to stretch and make one cut and get north, and when they get north, they have tremendous speed. So you're seeing a lot of outside zone run plays with them, from the offset back position where they're stretching it, they're getting behind those linemen and cutting right off their butts, and doing a really nice job of it. And they're mixing in the RPOs just like everybody in our conference does. So, if Davis wants to pull that ball out and throw a hitch or a slant or a fade throw, they're giving him the ability to do that. And because of it, it makes it hard. You have to defend an inside run game with an outside four-wide perimeter team.
Right.
It makes for a long night.
A couple questions here from Danny Moriel. He's wondering sort of how you envision the identity of your offense right now, and has it changed since Sam Darnold has become the quarterback? Has that changed your view of what the identity of this offense is?
I absolutely love the balance that we've had really in the last four games. I look and it's whether it's been last game 300 yards rushing to 250 passing, or whether we threw for 350 and rushed for 200. The balance right now is what sticks out to me. It hasn't been lopsided, and that's what I think makes you dangerous. That's what Cal is doing right now. That's what we've done in the last four games, is when you combine that marriage of run and pass where you keep a defense off balance, that's why you're putting up 550 yards a game over the last three games averaging. So we need to keep that going.
Yeah, staying with that, and I don't want you to reveal the game plan. I certainly know that you have no plans on revealing it, but when you face a team, and this happened earlier this year with Arizona State, where statistically at least they were so lopsided. They were really good run defense, but pass defense they were not. Cal's sort of the opposite. How much do you look at that, and how much do you say, wait a second, I don't want to come out of my balance just because I see opportunities to exploit?
I think one of the things that T has done a tremendous job of is in-game adjustments, and the way, the ability he forms a game plan with him and Tyson, being able to sit down and be able to say, you know what, this is if they load the box, we can go to these passes. Hey, if they're going to decide to double up on the outside, this is the run game, and this is how we attack with the tight end. They're being able to mix things around a little bit, and I'm listening on the headset going, gosh, this is the way it should be. This is exactly how it should be. Right. All of a sudden, hey, they're going one high, they're going man. Great opportunity to take a shot with Juju down the side. Hey, they're playing too high. Let's hand this ball off to Rojo. Those are the things that you want to hear on a headset with your play caller, and that's what T's doing right now. Really proud of him.
The one thing, when we get to this point of the season, the question becomes identity. I'm always interested in identity and how, the coach's mindset is in terms of, identity of your team and, what this team does well. Going into this game, are you sort of expecting high scoring and are we sort of saying, look, 4th down and ones, you have to maybe try to save a possession, those types of things? Does that change because of the opponent?
I think it does, as far as being a head coach, and as far as already have talking to T about, hey, we have to be aggressive in this game. It kind of reminds you of playing Colorado, playing Arizona, teams that can put up a lot of points, and being able to go in there and saying, hey, every time we hit the 35 now, I want you to think 4-down territory, because field goals may not be good enough here. We're probably going to have to go for it on fourth down and try to push this ball into the end zone. Being aggressive, being aggressive on taking some chances down the field, because the 14, 15 play drive, sometimes you can all of a sudden you get a penalty, or all of a sudden you have a mistake that sets you back. So we've gone into these, especially the last 4 games, I think, being really ultra aggressive in all facets, in all 3 phases, and I think that's what we're going to have to continue to do, especially against a team that puts up 43 points a game.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing it. Thursday night is the big game, 7:30 kick. We'll see you at the Coliseum. If not, you can listen to JJ and I on the radio, ESPN LA 710, or